Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be drafting the basic bodies for an extra large size. We started with drafting the basic bodies for an extra small size and we stopped at the large size. The links to these tutorials will be in the description. Please make sure to follow the tutorial step by step and follow along with your own body measurement. Do not forget to like and share the video so that it can get to others. Subscribe to the channel and learn secret codes on how to draft and sew garments that fit your body type perfectly. And without further ado, let's get right into the tutorial. On the shoulder line, I'll place the neck width of 2.5 inches and the neck depth of 3 inches, and I'll square out these points. The reason for the 2.5 inches neck width is for us to lay the foundation for a proper neckline adjustment, and we do this by establishing the neckline and the shoulder slope first. Still on the shoulder line, I will place half of my shoulder measurement of 9 inches. I will square down that point. With my tape placed on the shoulder line on one half of my shoulder, I will go down 9 inches for the front armhole level. I will square out that point. With my tape still on the shoulder line on one half of my shoulder, I will go down 1.75 inches for my shoulder slope. I will connect this point back to the neckline and draw in my neck curve. Now that the neckline and the shoulder slope has been established, we'll do a neckline modification. On the neck width, I will go out by 1 inch, and on the neck depth, I will come down by 1 inch. I will square out this point and draw in my new neck curve and cancel out the old one. Please, it's important to follow the steps exactly the way I am showing you to get a good result. You can see the excess we've removed from the shoulder line from this modification. Do not be tempted to mark 3.5 inches directly. If you do, you'll be connecting your shoulder line this way and you'll need to make some alterations when you sew this up. On the bust or armhole level, I will place 1/4 of my bust measurement plus ½ inch for bust ease. This ½ inch is borrowed from the bust measurement of the back bodies because we are more fuller in the front, and this ½ inch will be minused when drafting the back bodies. I'll find the midpoint from the shoulder slope point to the armhole or bust level. I will square out that point. This line becomes my front chest level. On this line, I will mark half of my front chest measurement of 7.5 inches. The standard difference between half of your shoulder measurement to half of your front chest measurement for a sleeveless basic block should not be more than 1 inch. So I will make up for the difference and mark 8 inches instead. And with these 3 points, I will draw in my front armhole curve. With my tape placed on the shoulder line, I will come down 13 inches for the bust point. I will square out this point. With my ruler on the armhole level on 1/4 of the bust measurement, I will square it down a little. On this line from the armhole level, I will come down 4 inches for my bust dart level. From that point, I will go down again 1 inch for my standard dart intake. On the bust point level, I will place half of my bust span of 4.5 inches. I will go out again by ½ an inch and draw in my dart legs so that when I sew up these darts, it will not fall directly on the tip of my bust. With my tape placed on the shoulder line, I will go down 19 inches for my front half length. I will square out this point and this line becomes my waistline. On this line, I will place half of my bust span of 4.5 inches. I will connect it to the bust point with a straight line. And on this line, I will place 1 inch my dart intake, ½ inch on both sides of the line, and I will draw in my dart legs. On the waistline, I will place 1/4 of my waist measurement plus the 1 inch dart plus 0.25 inch for ease. With the bust dart closed, I will draw in my side seam using the slight curved side of my ruler. On the center front of the waistline, I will come down by half an inch for stomach ease. With the waist that close, I will connect this point back to the side seam using the slight curved side of my ruler. With a tracing wheel or pin, I will transfer all that lines and through my lines. For a better fit round the armhole for anyone who might experience gaping because we are all shaped differently, maybe you have a larger boobs with smaller shoulder or you're slightly bent forward. At the curved side of the armhole, you're going to draw two short lines of about 2 inches in length and 0.25 inch in width. These two short lines will be permanently closed. Then you go in and reshape your armhole if it needs reshaping. Please note that these are basic tips to get a basic bodice that fits. Like I always said, we are all shaped differently, so feel free to experiment. For someone who is slightly bent forward or has a little bit of hunch at the back half length of this person will be longer than the front half length, so the basic bodice for this body type is completely different. This side will serve as the zipper allowance. On the shoulder line, I'll place the neck width of 2.5 inches, half of my shoulder measurement of 9 inches and the neck depth of 1.5 inches. I will square out these points. With my tape on the shoulder line on one half of my shoulder, I will come down at 1.75 inches for my shoulder slope. I will connect this point back to the neckline and draw in my back neck curve. Now that we have established the neckline and the shoulder slope, on the neck width, I will go out by 1 inch for our neckline modification. I will square down this point and draw in my new back neck curve. Please note that the 1 inch is marked on the shoulder line and not on the shoulder slope. Just like I explained on the front bodies, you can see the excess we removed on the shoulder line from this modification. Do not be tempted to mark 3.5 inches and connect directly to your shoulder slope point. If you do, you will have excess around the shoulder slope and you will need to make some alteration when you sew this up. With my tape placed on the shoulder line on one half of my shoulder, I will go down 10.5 inches for the back armhole level for a sleeveless dress. I will square out this point and this line becomes my armhole or bust level. On this line, I will place 1/4 of my bust measurement minus the ½ inch we borrowed on the front bodice for bust ease. I will find the midpoint from the shoulder slope point to the armhole or bust level. I will square out this point and this line becomes my back chest level. On this line, I will place half of my back chest or armpit to armpit measurement of 8 inches. The standard difference between 1/2 of the shoulder to the back chest measurement for a sleeveless dress is ½ inch. In my own case, the difference between 1/2 of my shoulder to my back chest measurement is 1 inch. So I'm going to add an extra ½ inch to my back chest measurement and mark 8.5 inches instead to balance it up. And with these 3 points, I will draw in my back armhole curve. With my tape on the shoulder line, I will go down 17.5 inches for my back half length. I will square out this point and this line becomes my back waistline. On the armhole or bust level, I will place half of my bust span of 4.5 inches. I will place this same measurement on the waistline and I will connect these 2 points with a straight line. On this line, I will place ½ inch on both sides of the line for my 1 inch dart intake and I will draw in my dart legs. On this line, I will place 1/4 of my waist measurement plus the 1 inch dart plus 0.25 inch for ease, and with the slight curved side of my ruler, I will draw in my side seam. To balance off the side seams of the back to the front bodice, on the waistline I will go down by 1.5 inches, the difference in the armhole level of the front and the back, and I'll square out this point. This line becomes my new back waistline. On this new line, I will replace 1/4 of my waist measurement plus the 1 inch dart plus 0.25 inch for ease and redraw my dart legs. To remove any bulge or fold on the center back, from the new waistline, you go up by 1/2 inch and connect it back to the waistline. I'll be showing you how to do that shortly, but I'm going to leave my pattern on the original back half length. So on the new waistline, I will go up by 1/2 inch. I will square out that point. And with my waist dart closed, I will connect that point back to the waistline with the slight curve side of my ruler. Please, it's important to close the dart when you're connecting these points to avoid shortage of fabric. So guys, I'll connect my original waistline with the blue marker and the adjusted waistline with the red marker. I have connected the waistline. I'll go ahead and transfer all that using my pin or a tracing wheel and through my darts. So guys, I've done all that I said. Now we are going to measure the side seams of the front and back bodies to ensure that they are the same. Now with the bust dart on my front bodice closed, the side seam measured 9 inches, while on the back bodice measured 8.5 inches. So from this measurement, I have a difference of 1/2 inch. This 1/2 inch, I will be taking it in at the bust dart. For those who are fully chested with very short back half length, let's say your front half length is 19 inches and your back half length is 16 or 17 inches, and the difference between the side seam of your front and back bodies is between 2 or even 4 inches, you're going to follow the same method. My standard dart intake is 1 inch, so I'm going to add the 1/2 inch to that. Now from my bust dart level, I'm going to come down at 1.5 inches and redraw my dart legs. So if yours is 2 inches, 3 inches, from the bust dart level, just make your bust dart intake that 2 inches, 3 inches, 4 inches as the case may be, and redraw your dart legs. Once that is done, please close in the new bust dart and redraw your side seam. With a tracing wheel or pins, transfer the new dart lines and through your darts. Once that is done, close back the bust dart and remeasure your side seam to confirm that they are now the same. From my own measurement, mine are the same. I'll go ahead and cut out my pattern. So guys, I've cut out my pattern and I forgot to mention the armhole adjustment on the back bodies in case you experience any kind of gaping, because we are all shaped differently. On your pattern, on the curved side of your armhole, you're going to draw 2 short lines of about 2 inches in length and 0.25 inch in width. These 2 short lines will be permanently closed. Then you go in and reshape your armhole if it needs reshaping. I'll go ahead and cut this pattern out. So guys, I've cut out the pattern and I've indicated all my darts. On the front bodies, from the bust point, I came down by 1 inch and redrew the waist dart so that when you sew up your dart, it doesn't fall on the tip of your bust. In my previous basic bodice tutorial, I showed how to pin your pattern to your fabric if you're removing excess from the armhole. I will not be doing that in this tutorial, but the next clip will show you how to pin your modified pattern to your fabric. When you close in the gap on the armhole, your pattern is not going to be flat, and this is how you pin it on your fabric. So you go in with your hands, smoothing out any folds on the pattern and pin along as I'm showing you in the video. Please do not be in a hurry to do this. Make sure you take your time and get every space on the pattern pin on the fabric. I'll go ahead and sew up this pattern, and that will be it for this tutorial. If you find the video helpful, do not forget to like, share, comment, leave all your questions and suggestions in the comment section. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in my next one. A bientôt!